Video 3. Developing a backend using direct response and staying the course. This is a video series of 5. Video 3. Developing a backend using direct response and staying the course. Hi, Kenny here again with the third video in this 3-video series. In this video we're going to talk about 3 things: developing a backend, switching to direct response, and sticking with winning campaigns. I may have saved the best for last because applying the ideas in this video correctly can make a gigantic, lasting improvement in your business, multiplying its profits many times. To recap the previous 2 videos very quickly, in the first video we talked about internet marketing and how unreliable and unpredictable it is, as well as how it targets the same people who are already being targeted by every competitor you have in the world, and how it ignores people who are ripe for marketing but haven't begun to search, as well as an entire very wealthy demographic. In the second video, we looked at 2 of the most basic building blocks of your marketing plan: knowing yourself and what makes you special, your unique selling proposition, and knowing your customers and prospects, hearing what they say and communicating it back to them so they know that they've been heard. In this video, we're going to use all that knowledge to do some very basic, simple things that will amaze you if you try them. Developing a backend. A backend is another product or service that complements, enhances, or satisfies a need which comes out of the initial sale you make to a customer. A lot of businesses do not make sure they have a backend sale, but you absolutely should. It's far easier and cheaper to sell to a satisfied customer than it is to acquire a new one, and it's easier to know and to find out the needs of your existing customers than anybody else. If you primarily sell one product or service, or a number of products or services that are directed at one problem or desire, you are in a perfect place to develop a back end. You just ask yourself or your customers a simple set of questions. What was the problem that brought the customer to you this time? And once that problem is solved, what will be the next problem that naturally comes up? Life is an endless series of problems and opportunities. If you just sold a guy a basic electric train set for his kid, for example, the next things he'll need are more track, more cars, special cars, a building set so the kid can build communities beside the railroad, and perhaps a car track too. At least, that's the progression of desires my son had. Some people will buy these things on the spot if they can, but my son and I discovered the needs over time as he experimented with the train. A letter or catalog from the train seller from time to time would have made many sales that other companies actually got. And it would have provided a great service to us. We discovered many fun things by ourselves, but we would have been very open to suggestions too. Yes, it's obvious, but when was the last time you got that sort of a letter? A letter from the business that just sold you something, making you a special offer on something you might need to go with it, or that would make the thing you just got even better. But what if my son's train seller did not have the things I just mentioned? What if he only sold trains because that's all he was interested in? Well, that would be a good time for that owner to consider things a little more from his customer's point of view. It might have been a good time for him to have a marketing consultant who would do what he could have done but either didn't want to or didn't remember to do. Go talk to toy makers or sellers, line up some sort of joint deal or special discounts, and set up a referral relationship. Question: what does a business that has just sold an electric train to an excited kid or parent have? Answer: it has an established customer with a predictable flow of future needs. Let that sink in. What could you do with that knowledge? Most of your competitors probably aren't doing anything with it at all. If you sell toy cars and your marketing costs are 20% of your gross sales, would you be interested in giving the train seller's customers a 5% or 10% discount if the train seller sends them over to you as a referral? Would you be interested in giving the train seller a part of the extra profits you made as a result of making a sale without marketing costs? You should. You'll make more money if you do. From the train seller's point of view, he has an asset that has value. He's paid to bring that kid or parent into the store, and he owes it to himself to get the best value for that expense. What would it be worth to your business if you maximize the value of every customer and every purchaser? Some businesses lend themselves to this process very obviously, and others take some thinking. But all businesses have this way open to them to multiply their profits, either through products they themselves can create or acquire and sell at the back end, or through selective alliances with other businesses. And very, very few of them actually do it. It takes work, and it takes time away from what got you into the business in the first place. If that's you, you need a marketing consultant. And just to point out one more obvious fact that might not be so obvious, if you make an arrangement to help fulfill the predictable needs of an established customer, then every time the customer makes one of these purchases, his or her relationship to you is getting closer rather than more distant. Related purchases from other stores are either strengthening the customer's connections to you and increasing the chance they'll come back to you the next time they need what you're selling, or they're making it less likely and are eroding the benefit of your other advertising and marketing efforts, losing you money. Looked at from a different angle, if you care about your customers, don't you want to make sure that they get the things they need and want, that you can foresee them needing and wanting at the best price and quality? They'll know if you do or don't care about them that much. Like the hardware salesperson, you're in a unique position to think of these things even before the customers do. If you do, it tells them one thing about your business, and if you don't, it tells them something else. You can save them time and hassle and add to the overall quality of their experience with the product you sold them. And you can negotiate better deals for them with other merchants because you offer volume. You can negotiate lower prices for your customers, cut yourself in on the profit from the deal, make your marketing costs more effective, and reduce the other business's marketing costs. A win for everybody. How many chances in life do you get to do that? 4. Switch from institutional ads or no ads to direct response. Direct response means that any ad you create or promotion you send asks a reader or watcher to take some specific action in response. You can track the response rate and know exactly how effective your ad was. You will gain competitive advantage and serve your customers better by using a more results-oriented approach. Most of the ads you hear on the radio or see on television or even read in the newspapers are not direct response. They are institutional. At best, they present a beneficial feature or two regarding the product and leave the customer to figure out the next action you take. Most of the time, though, advertisements these days feature some remarkably stupid scenario where you despise the actors or speakers. Not a fan. This is a waste of money. The king of direct response advertising is direct mail. You may be thinking that postal mail is so expensive compared to internet marketing, whereas an email doesn't cost a thing, right? You might think that postal direct mailing has fallen so far out of fashion that very few mainstream marketers do it anymore. Well, think of all the catalogs you get. You might have heard that the response rate for direct mail is in the low single-digit numbers, so it's impossible to make money from it. But these are all the wrong ways to think about it. Instead, think about it as you would any serious investment. Ask, is it profitable to do? And the answer to that question is yes. And here's something else to consider. The postal mail system is predictable. If you've ever been victimized by a Google algorithm change, you will appreciate that you can say pretty much anything to your customers in a letter. There are no words that will get you blackballed by the U.S. postal system, no approaches they will forbid. If you can mail to 1,000 people at a profit, you can mail to 10,000 people for 10 times as much profit. Consider the incredible power of that equation. Remember that two of the biggest problems with internet marketing are that first, the customer has to opt into the market by initiating a search. And secondly, that the level of competition is the highest anywhere, and the noise of all that information makes making your case the most difficult it will ever be. Neither of these things is a factor of direct mail. 5. Stick with campaigns that are working. There's a no-brainer feature to this fifth suggestion: to stick with working campaigns. If you find a combination that is working, if it's bringing in people or selling to them at a profitable level, if it's accomplishing your advertising goals, in other words, keep doing it. Keep doing it until it stops working. As simple as that seems, almost nobody does it, as incredible as that may seem. Companies change advertising and drop working campaigns all the time. If you're doing institutional advertising, the temptation to do it must be overwhelming. You can't be sure whether they're working anyway. And if your ads are anything like most of the ads on radio and television, they're really boring. If they're better than that, though, somehow, and you like them at first, you still worry whether you're trying the market's patience by replaying them. Because even good jokes do get old. If you're doing direct response advertising, you will know whether your campaign is working. If it still sells at a profitable level, it's working. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's really as simple as that. As obvious as all these things may be, you know that most businesses ignore them in their ad campaigns all the time. You will gain advantage by following a more logical approach. If this video talks to you, do me a favor and give it a like and share it with someone else or anyone else you think might also like it. I'd also invite any questions or comments. I'll read them all and try to come up with good responses. If you'd like to talk to me more directly, email me at kenny@goldensunconsulting.com or call me at 314-941-2331.